Howdy, this is a righteous farmer. I know I can't compete with all these crazy videos we love to watch, but I'm in the mood to make some myself. And just maybe I'll be able to give you some hints and tricks about successful home gardening.
Okay.
It's the 17th day of April, and it's a little hard to tell with this weather chart, but today was warm and a little windy. In case you're new, this is one of the videos in a series where I take you along with me with everything to do with the garden. We're talking from seed to soup, and the subject is tasty homegrown tomatoes. Oh, and nary a tot of nasty AI either, well, except for the well-appointed thumbnail. Other than that, it's pure human. I mean, geez, no computer company would make a fake AI that talks like me. Geez. Well, anyway, today's video is part one of actually getting the tomato plants into the ground. Lots more exciting vegetable stuff to come, but today it's all about tasty tomatoes. It's my intention to not make the vids too tedious, and not too long either. I kind of like to speed things up every now and again. Make myself look real quick, I do. But in the meantime, you don't miss any of my methods, hints, tips, and tricks, which is what you're here for anyway, I would most heartily presume. In an earlier vid, I allowed that this year for a change that I hadn't planted tomato seeds. That instead I had purchased my plants in the handy 6-pack shown here. In our part of the world, there is just one plant provider, and that is Bonnie Plants. They are all over the place, and they have no competition. From big stores to little co-ops, this is who makes the plants. If you don't plant the seeds yourself, this is what you got, unless someone local is growing and selling from behind the house. Well, when I got the plants, they were little, so I put them in the house under the grow light in my combo washer room and plant nursery. My wife, V, always hollers at me when I put the plants on the clothes dryer for some reason. I don't know why she does that. Neither here nor there to the telling of this long-winded tale. Anyway, I placed the plants in the clothes basket to protect them from our nosy terror cats, Radar T cat, and Orange Cat Bad, and the darn thing shot up to an enormous size in like no time. Never had that to happen that quick. Fact is, I didn't really need to transplant the little rascals at all, but I did anyway, because that's what I always do. The Bonnie plants come in 6-packs and lone plants in pots too, but unless you're going to plant like, just one, the pots are not affordable. So stick with the 6-packs, or even better, grow them yourself in a 6-pack container. I think I'll put a link to Amazon below for those things. Be advised that this is a for-profit deal. If you actually purchase from my link, I will make, like a nickel or 4 cents or something. Daddy Warbucks. If you grow your own and you need the size planting cups shown here, and don't go smaller, been there and done that, okay? Doesn't work. And if you're going to be doing Bonnie or similar at your digs, you can save your 6 pots for next year by carefully using your thumb to push the plants up from the bottom as you gently tug on the upper plant or leaves. See, I have scad loads of those things, so I don't mind ripping them up. But if you're thrifty, you can save them whole if you'll be careful. Well, in a way, it's a good time to give you a crucial potting hint here. Stay away from El Cheapo potting soil and even some of the more popular brands that I don't think I should name, but you can probably miracle up the name for yourself. There are 2 varieties that I can heartily recommend to you. One would be called Frog Dirt, and if you can find it, best of all, Pro Mix. I found my Pro Mix at Walmart. We have 3 Walmarts in the area, but only one had it. Frankly, I'd never looked at it for years and years. I used it years ago, but haven't in a while. Anyway, I was amazed. Amazon has it, but it's expensive. Pro Mix is what the big guys use, and if you can get that, go for it. Otherwise, Frog Dirt, and you can get that kind of stuff. Make Frog Dirt at your co-op if you're going to get it anywhere. Time moves on. It's a couple of weeks since we potted those tomato plants, and boy, they went crazy. So now it's time to set them out. Today's the 29th, and as you can see, the weather is pretty nice today. Whoa, just like magic, we're up in the old Garden and raring to go big time. Well, maybe I exaggerate just a little. In the back of Old Blue, my trusty 1985 Chevy S10 pickup you will observe the tomato plants and a blue bag with chilling waters, post hole diggers, good old triple 13 fertilizer, and lastly my fertilizer layer downer doohickey fashion from an old laundry soap jug. I probably forgot something, which means I'll have to walk back down to the dang house to fetch it. Happens every time. I will confess to you that one of my least favorite things is horsing around those 50-pound bags of fertilizer. But it must be done. My word.
Wow. That is not light. Look at that right there. Alright. Look.
You may recall from an earlier video that I sprinkled the good old triple 13 all over the garden, then knocked off the top of the whole garden with a tiller. Well, this time I laid down a string all the way across the garden, up and down, and just like putting lines on a ball, field I proceed to lay down a nice medium trail of the fert. Not too much and not too little. Then comes out the DRT 900 set to reverse tine dig mode, and I dig up the tomato row as deep as the thing will go. When I get to the t'other end of the garden, I turn around and come back. This makes the row a little deeper and even more yummy, El Yumbo, for the little baby maters. Wow. Did you ever notice the table over there by my natty garden swing? Well, it is a very precise piece of equipment whereby I keep likely assortment of garden implements. Wisely, I choose the Yaller hoe handle minus the hoe. I don't know how long the thing is, judge for yourself. It so happens, however, that it's perfect for spacing tomatoes about 3 or 3.5 feet or so. Drag and mark. Drag and mark. You could do something similar yourself, hint hint. Use an old rake handle or cut a stick. And while I'm on it, you don't think I acquired all this junk in a year, do you? No, it takes time to get this junked up. Can't do it all in a day, my friend. No. Don't even think about it. Now comes time for the digging. Again, not one of my favorite things. If you want to come over to the house and do all this mess for me, we'll plant 2 rows and I'll give you some tomatoes. I will do that. Sigh. Oh well. So dig, diggity dig with a shovel. A little close-up action shows how deep and such that I go. Now you may have thought that the post hole diggers were for the tomatoes, but they are not. We'll use those things a little later to put up our trellis system thingy. In the meantime, having tried the post hole digger method, I find that the shovel actually does best. If your garden requires you to use a post hole digger because it is so hard, it would behoove you to dig up a like hole as you see here to give the tomato room to spread its roots. In my garden, after you pass 8 to 10 inches, depending, you hit nice good red dirt. It's that upper few inches that does all the work, you betch 'em. And that's all you need if you got hard ground, okay? Dig your hole and make it juicy. Now comes the sweet and sour part. Sweet because I love planting my little tomato babies, but rancid because while getting down is all the fun, getting back up again is quite a process. Let me be a warning. If I had have exercised my legs on my exercise machine for a few weeks prior to planting, I could have stood back up a whole lot easier, but I did not. Likewise, if you are old like me and you spend too much time in the old recliner, watching YouTube videos, get ready for the struggle. I use an old walker to give me something to push up on. Ridiculous, but it is what it is. It's where we're at. It's where I'm at. Don't you get there. Showing you how the sausage gets made as I work closer to the camera, I set it up for a close-up of the planting process. That's a great shot of my combo garden and hunting boots. I'm kind of slow anyway, but when you're seeing me move around at true speed in the garden, I'm having to walk kind of slow and careful, or those clodhoppers will cause me to fall over onto my face. For boots, they have no sense of humor whatsoever. But back to the issue at hand, the planting. It's a little hard to see, but just like when I'm repotting, you should never ever grab the plants by the stems. If you do garden vids a lot, you'll see the pros do that, and later they will wonder why their plants keeled over. Soft plants like tomatoes have a very low tolerance of stem grabbing. Always handle by the upper branches and leaves. Leave the stem alone, big time. That's a good hint for you. That's a hint for life. Another thing, you will see me mercilessly ripping off the lower branches of the young tomatoes. I didn't used to do that, and I suffered for it. There is a reason for this. If you leave those things on, and you'll want to leave them on. If you leave them on, you'll wind up with the tomatoes on the ground. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Why, heck, I went to so much trouble to grow these darn things, and I did so great at it. So why in the world would I want to start whittling them down? Well, you got to do it, and you got to be vicious about it. Keep those lower limbs pruned off like the dickens. Not to worry, though. See, the plant will get even with you by putting on even more limbs higher up just where you want them. Promise. Don't nip too close to the plant trunk. Pinch or cut back an inch or so. I know this seems redundant at this point as you watch, but I'm here to spill my guts on garden farming, so there are two ways to set out the plants. Keep them in a container to drag along, whereas, a little red wagon would be nice. Or just go ahead and, I've used when I really got a lot of plants, I'll use a wheelbarrow. Or just go ahead and set them all out by a hole. So all you have to do worry with is to plant the cups, which you can get down at that big marked place you spend so much time at. I'm talking the little red cups, okay, the drink cups. I use an ice pick to jab holes into the bottom of the cups, like a half a dozen at the time, 4 or 5 holes for drainage. And you can reuse those cups year after year. Well, alrighty, I hurriedly put those things into the yummy ground, and the last thing, all the tomatoes get a generous dosing of water, which I don't show because I know you know what a hose pipe does. A garden hose run from the house as a blessing, by the way, and you can consider that another hint or tip. I'll leave you with your friend in mind, the disastrous orange cat bat, finally getting to luxuriate on top of the combination clothes dryer and plant nursery thingy in the very spot the tomatoes used to be. So join me next time for the further thrilling adventures with tomatoes. We're just getting started with what it takes to make them great. Until then, meow meow and woof.